everyone, I'm Melissa Morris with Bright Pet Behavior and Training, and we're going to discuss the world of animal-assisted therapy. Whether you're new to the concept or just looking to deepen your understanding, this course is designed to explore how therapy animals can change lives beyond just being companions. So the purpose of this course is to help you understand the role of therapy animals and their handlers. We'll cover what it takes to be a responsible and effective handler, the expectations placed on therapy animals, how to interpret dog body language and stress signals, and what's involved in the therapy dog test. What is animal-assisted therapy? Animal-assisted therapy involves intentionally incorporating animals into therapeutic work to support physical, emotional, cognitive, or social improvements. It's more than just having a dog in the room. It's about purposeful interactions that support treatment goals. Therapy animals offer a wide range of benefits, from providing comfort and lifting mood to supporting child development and improving quality of life. They can break down barriers in therapy and encourage connections in ways that humans often can't. And these benefits go both ways. These interactions also enhance the well-being of the animals. Beyond helping humans, therapy work promotes better relationships between people and animals. It enhances animal welfare by providing socialization and enrichment for the dog, reducing boredom, and promoting their mental health through positive interactions. It encourages respect, kindness, and responsible pet ownership. Therapy dogs often experience close and trusting bonds with their handlers, which can encourage other people to form those bonds with their own pets. It also raises awareness about the different roles animals can play in society and encourage their humane treatment. Therapy animals serve as ambassadors, showing the public how animals can contribute meaningfully to human lives. This can increase respect and compassion towards animals in general. Therapy teams can work in a variety of settings. Some examples are hospitals, senior living facilities, libraries, courtrooms, doctors' offices, schools, therapist offices, community events, and more. Each environment may have different needs, expectations, and rules, which makes handler preparation incredibly important. Therapy teams do not have to visit every type of facility. Some facilities may be a better match for some teams than others. Handler requirements may vary for different therapy animal organizations. Typically, handlers must be at least 18 years old, have a valid driver's license, pass a background check, and have lived with the animal for at least 6 months. These requirements help ensure stability, responsibility, and an established bond. You must also dress professionally, track visits accurately, and understand both your organization's rules and the facility's expectations and protocols. The handler plays a key role in ensuring safe, positive, and effective interactions between their animal and the people they visit. Their responsibilities include making sure the pet is their primary focus during a visit, so not bringing along a child or other pet that will also need supervision, or not being distracted on the phone during a visit. Monitoring the animal's behavior and well-being during visits. This means paying close attention to the animal's body language to ensure they aren't feeling overwhelmed, and ensuring the dog is well behaved. Ensuring the animal is clean, healthy, and well groomed. Maintaining control of the animal at all times, so the animal will need to be on leash at all times. Respecting facility rules and protocols. Advocating for their animal's needs, including recognizing signs of stress or fatigue. This may also mean you might need to remove your animal from certain situations if they are feeling overwhelmed. Providing comfort and support to individuals during interactions. Completing any necessary training, certifications, or paperwork required by the therapy organization that you are associated with. The handler also will be responsible for ensuring positive interactions with the dog by directing people where to pet the dog. For example, a lot of dogs aren't comfortable with having people reach over their head. So instead, initially, tell the person that the dog really enjoys having their side scratched or having their chest rubbed in order to direct the person how to best interact with the dog. Make sure you are aware of any medical equipment, tubes, or injuries, and have the dog approach from the opposite side than any painful body part. You may ask the person where the best place would be for the dog to be situated during the interaction. All handlers must conduct themselves professionally. Remember, you are not just representing your organization, but you are also representing all therapy dog teams. Ask permission before entering personal spaces, such as hospital rooms. Treat all people with respect and kindness, and demonstrate empathetic listening. Confidentiality is extremely important as well. Ensure that personal details, medical conditions, emotional states, or conversations are not shared without consent. People will be more comfortable to interact if they know they are safe from judgment or exposure. One of the most important parts of being a therapy animal team is knowing how to conduct a visit in a way that's respectful, calm, and supportive for both the person you're visiting and your animal. Following a consistent structure helps ensure a positive experience for everyone involved. First, you're going to observe. Before you approach anyone, take a moment to observe the environment. Look at the person's body language. Are they making eye contact with you? Do they seem alert or withdrawn? Are they already engaged in an activity or with a staff member? This helps you gauge whether they're open for a visit. Ask permission politely. Always ask before entering someone's personal space. Even in settings where visits are expected, not everyone will want to interact. A simple friendly question like, "Would you like to say hello to Rover?" gives the person the choice and shows respect for their comfort and boundaries. This also allows them to let you know if they're allergic, afraid of dogs, or simply not in the mood, which is completely okay. Approach slowly and calmly. If the person agrees to a visit, approach with your dog in a controlled and calm manner. Walk slowly, speak softly, and guide your dog to approach from the person's preferred side, especially being mindful of any medical equipment or injuries. Your dog should be on a loose leash, walking politely at your side. This sets the tone for a peaceful and focused interaction. Control the interaction. Once you're in position, it's your responsibility to guide how the interaction goes. You might say, "My dog loves being petted on the shoulders," or "Feel free to give a treat like this, just open your palm." Never allow your dog to climb, lick excessively, or nudge someone. If your dog starts to show signs of stress or overexcitement, gently interrupt and redirect. You are your dog's advocate, and part of your role is protecting their well-being while ensuring the interaction remains safe and appropriate for the person you're visiting. Stay engaged and monitor. Throughout the visit, stay fully present. watch both the person and your dog closely. Are they both comfortable and enjoying the interaction? Is your dog relaxed and responsive, or starting to show stress signals like lip licking, yawning, or backing away? Stay off your phone and avoid side conversations with staff or other handlers. Your full attention should be on the interaction. This helps you catch small signs early and reinforces the professionalism of your team. Wrap up graciously. Keep visits short and positive. Typically 2 to 5 minutes is ideal. You can end with something warm and respectful like, "It was so nice to see you today. Would you like to give my dog one more treat before we go?" Thank them for their time and say goodbye warmly. Leaving on a positive note helps make the visit memorable and ensures they're looking forward to seeing your team again. Empathetic listening is one of the most powerful tools we bring to therapy visits. When we truly listen without interrupting, judging, or trying to fix, we give people the space to feel seen and heard. That alone can be incredibly healing. It tells them, "You matter, I'm here with you." Empathetic listening means being fully present, making eye contact, focusing on the speaker's words, letting the person finish their thoughts, and responding with warmth and understanding. Sometimes it's not about having the right words, it's simply about being there. And remember, your dog provides comfort with their presence, but you provide connection through your listening. When working with children, it's essential to create a respectful and safe space for both the child and the animal. Always allow the child to decide whether they want a visit. Consent and comfort are key. If they say yes, let them pet, connect with, and talk to the dog on their own terms. You can gently guide the interaction by saying things like, "This dog loves gentle pets on the shoulder." Make sure to step in if the child becomes too rough. No grabbing, climbing, or hugging the dog. The visit should always be calm and respectful. Let the animal take the lead in the interaction. If your dog needs space, advocate for them. Avoid asking suggestive or leading questions. Let the child express what they want to share naturally, and always respect their personal space, just as we expect them to respect the dog's. When visiting with seniors, especially those with Alzheimer's or other cognitive challenges, gentleness, patience, and empathy are essential. Practice active and empathetic listening. Let the person speak at their own pace, respond with warmth, and validate their feelings, even if their words or memories are unclear. Sometimes simply being present and listening is the most powerful support you can offer. Encourage your dog to remain calm and gentle throughout the visit. Many elderly individuals bruise or bleed easily, so avoid jumping, pawing, or sudden movements. Keep interactions slow, soft, and soothing. The goal is to offer comfort and connection, always with dignity and care. When supporting someone who is grieving, your presence and your dog's can offer quiet, meaningful comfort. Start by simply listening. Allow the person to share memories, emotions, or thoughts if they choose to. There's no need to fill the space, just be present. Demonstrate empathy and compassion through your tone, body language, and responses. A gentle nod, a kind word, or even just being still can speak volumes. Don't be afraid of natural silence. Grief doesn't always need words. Sometimes the most healing moment comes in the quiet. Let your dog provide comfort through their calm presence. Your animal doesn't need to do anything. Just being there can be incredibly powerful. Therapy dog handlers are often exposed to people who are grieving, ill, or in emotional pain. Over time, this can lead to compassion fatigue, or a state of emotional, physical, or spiritual exhaustion caused by prolonged exposure to the suffering of others. It's important to recognize that this is a real and valid experience. To prevent burnout, prioritize your own self-care. Take breaks when needed, set healthy boundaries, and don't be afraid to say no to a visit or if you or your dog need rest. Most importantly, build a strong support system, whether it's fellow handlers, friends, or a professional therapist. Caring for others starts with caring for yourself. If someone asks if your dog is a service dog, it is a great opportunity to educate kindly and professionally. You can say, My dog is a therapy dog. He's here to provide comfort and emotional support during visits. If the person seems interested or confused, you can gently clarify. Service dogs are trained to help one person with a disability by doing specific tasks, like guiding, alerting, or retrieving. Therapy dogs visit many people to bring comfort in places like hospitals, schools, and nursing homes. The goal is to inform without judgment and help others understand the important difference between the two roles. Sometimes during visits, you'll meet someone who wants to talk much longer than your schedule allows. It's important to be kind, but also set gentle boundaries. You might say, "It's so nice to chat, but I want to make sure others have time to visit as well." Or, "We only have a little time left, but I'm so glad we got to see you today." You can also help wrap up the visit in a friendly way with, "Would you like to give this dog one more treat before we go?" This helps keep the interaction positive while helping you stay on schedule. Not everyone you meet during visits will be in the mood for interaction, and that's okay. The key is to stay neutral, calm, and professional, and never take their mood personally. You might say, "We'll let you have some quiet time. Thank you for letting us visit today." Or offer a gentle option. "Would you like to pet this dog, or would you prefer if we just said a quick hello?" If they decline, respond kindly. "No problem at all. I hope you have a great day." Even a brief, respectful interaction can leave a positive impression. Sometimes you may encounter staff who aren't aware of your visit or aren't familiar with therapy dog teams. In these moments, it's important to be polite and proactive. Start by introducing yourself. Always carry your ID or organization materials to help clarify your purpose. A calm, friendly explanation can quickly clear up confusion and build trust with facility staff. If your dog starts showing signs of stress or fatigue during a visit, it's important to prioritize their well-being and remove them from the situation, whether that means taking a break or ending their visit early. You might say, "I'm going to give my dog a break. He looks like he needs some quiet time." Or, if it's best to leave entirely, you can say, "We're going to end our visit today so my dog can rest. We'll look forward to coming back another time." Advocating for your animal keeps them safe, builds trust, and ensures they're always comfortable during their work. When visits are limited, it's important to keep interactions brief, warm, and meaningful, typically just 2 to 5 minutes. You can say, "We've got a few more people to visit today, but it was so nice to see you." Or, "We're making our rounds. It was lovely visiting with you." This helps you stay on schedule while still leaving the person with a positive, respectful experience. You will want to make sure you and your dog are well prepared for the visit ahead of time. Make sure your dog is clean, meaning free of dirt, odor, and mats. This may mean you will need to bathe, dry, and brush your dog prior to a visit. Your dog's nails should be clipped to minimize risk of scratching someone. Dremeling the nails so they are rounded is an extra precaution that some people may choose. Next, pack your gear. You will need plenty of small, bite-sized treats to reward your dog during a visit. A treat bag that is easily accessible is recommended so you can quickly reward your dog for good behavior. You will also need poop bags, a towel, a mat if your dog is trained to relax on a mat, and it may help them keep their composure during a visit. A crate, stroller, or carrier if you have a small dog that needs it. Water and a water bowl or bottle. And your organization's ID and vest. Be sure to exercise your dog prior to a visit. Give them the opportunity to move their body to get some energy out. This could be going for a walk or run, playing in the yard, or maybe a game of fetch. If they've had the chance to release some of that energy, they are more likely to be able to stay calm during a visit. However, do not try to exhaust or wear out the dog, since we do still want them to have the energy to socialize. Prior to a visit, be sure to check your dog's equipment to ensure their collar and/or harness are in good working condition and appropriately fitted. Most importantly, check your dog. It is important that your dog is feeling well and up for a visit. Just like people, dogs have days where they feel a little off and may not be up for socializing. If your dog doesn't seem to be feeling well or has had a lot of change or activity over the previous days, it may be best to skip that visit. It is better to skip a visit than to try to push your dog through if they aren't up for it. Remember, your priority needs to be your dog's well-being, so always advocate for them, even if it means they stay home that day. The length of each session may vary depending on the dog, the facility, and the situation. Be prepared to leave if your animal shows signs of fear or overwhelm. Each session should not exceed 2 hours. If doing multiple sessions in a day, the total time should not exceed 4 hours. Therapy animals must be at least 1 year of age, up to date on core vaccinations, spayed or neutered, free of internal or external parasites. They can be of any breed or breed mix, and they can have physical disabilities themselves. However, therapy animals cannot be trained in bite sports, have any sort of bite history where they have broken skin on a person or an animal, and they cannot be fed raw food immediately preceding or during a visit. Therapy animals should be friendly with people of all ages, genders, sizes, or ethnicities. And by friendly, I mean they should have a genuine love of interacting with people. They should be confident around distractions. They should be resilient so that if they get startled, they recover quickly. They should be comfortable in new situations and environments. And they should be friendly to other animals. Therapy animals also should be able to control their impulses, so they're able to remain at their handler's side when entering a new environment, able to greet people with 4 paws on the ground, able to remain composed when passing or coexisting around other animals, able to walk past distractions, including potential food, while remaining at handler's side, able to interact without excessive licking, scratching, or clawing, and able to take treats gently from another person. They should also have the ability to maintain manners without threat or intimidation by their handler. Other helpful behaviors would be mat work, so teaching the dog to relax on a mat, wave, visit, which is resting their chin on a person's lap, spin, act shy, high five, paws up, or other tricks that may make people smile. Required equipment may vary by organization. However, most organizations will allow the dog to wear a flat collar or a martingale type collar. A body harness or head halter would also be permitted. They will need to be on a 4 to 6 foot single length leash. For smaller dogs, you are welcome to use a pet stroller or carrier if needed, but the dog will also need to have a leash attached to them. Any equipment that requires force or aversive methods are not permitted during the test or during visits. This includes prong collars, choke chains, or electronic collars. The use of a muzzle also would not be allowed. Retractable and chain leashes must not be used either, as they can pose a safety risk. Now we are going to talk about how to recognize stress, anxiety, or discomfort in your pet. It is important that your dog is feeling safe and supported in a therapy setting. If you notice any signs that your dog may be uncomfortable, you should remove them from the situation. We are going to go through various stress signals that dogs may exhibit, first by individual body part. When a dog is relaxed, you'll typically see soft, almond-shaped eyes. The muscles around the eyes are loose, and their gaze moves naturally through the environment. But when a dog is stressed or anxious or afraid, their eyes start to look different. Here are some signs to watch for. Squinting, where the eyelids are partially closed. Hard stare is when the eyes are very still, wide open, and fixed. The dog may be staring directly at a person, another animal, or a trigger. It's not a relaxed gaze, it's intense. A hard stare can be a warning sign that the dog is feeling trapped. Dilated pupils, so if the dog's pupils are very large, even in bright lighting, it could be a response to fear or arousal. Averted gaze or avoidance, so dogs will often look away or avoid eye contact when they're uncomfortable. It's the dog basically saying that they don't want conflict. If they keep turning their head away or glancing at you out of the corner of their eye, it could mean they're anxious. Fixated, unable to distract, so constant staring and not able to move their gaze away. Hypervigilance, where they continually scan the environment for possible threats. Or whale eye, and this is when you can see the white part of the dog's eye, especially in a crescent shape at the corner. It means the dog is looking sideways while keeping their head still, and this is often a sign that the dog is uncomfortable. When trying to understand how a dog is feeling, their face and mouth can be incredibly expressive indicators of stress, anxiety, or fear. First, tightly closed mouth. A relaxed dog often has a slightly open mouth, possibly panting gently. When a dog is stressed or on alert, you might notice their mouth closes abruptly and becomes tight. This tension in the jaw is an early sign that the dog is uncomfortable. Lip licking or tongue flicks. One of the more subtle stress signals is when a dog repeatedly flicks their tongue out to lick their lips, especially when there's no food around. This isn't about being hungry, it's a calming signal dogs use when they feel nervous or unsure. Quick, repeated tongue flicks can be a way to self-soothe or communicate discomfort. Yawning. While yawning can indicate tiredness, in a training or therapy setting, repeated yawning is more often a sign of stress or conflict. It's a displacement behavior, something the dog does to cope with pressure or uncertainty. Tense facial muscles. So look for tension around the muzzle, especially around the corners of the mouth, called the commissures. In a stressed dog, these corners may be pulled far back or tightly closed. You may also see wrinkling around the nose or a furrowed brow. Drooling when out of context. So if a dog is drooling and there's no food around, it could indicate stress or nausea. In tense situations, excessive drooling can be a physical response to anxiety. Vocalizations, so whining, low growls, or sudden barking, may also indicate fear or stress. Some dogs whine when they're anxious, especially if they're feeling conflicted. Panting, so if a dog is heavily panting when it's not hot, that is also a sign that they could be stressed or anxious. A relaxed dog typically has soft, neutral ears. The exact position will depend on the breed. Some dogs have upright ears, some have floppy ones, but in general, relaxed ears follow the dog's movement and are positioned in a natural, comfortable way. When a dog is stressed, anxious, or afraid, their ears will change in both position and muscle tension, such as pinned back ears. When a dog pulls their ears back tightly against their head, it's often a sign of fear or nervousness. This is different from ears that are gently resting back. These are tight and held low. Rapid ear flicking. If a dog's ears are rapidly flicking back and forth or reacting to every little sound, they may be in a heightened state of arousal or anxiety. This can happen when the dog is on edge or feeling uncertain in a busy or overstimulating environment. Tense or pinched ears. Even if the ears aren't pinned back, you may notice that they are very still or held rigidly. This stiffness often comes with muscle tension throughout the face and body and is a subtle indicator that the dog is uncomfortable. Asymmetrical ear positioning. One ear up, one ear to the side, or one back and one forward can indicate uncertainty or conflicting emotions. The dog might be trying to gather more information about what's going on while also feeling nervous about it. When it comes to understanding a dog's emotions, the tail is one of the most commonly misunderstood body parts. Many people think a wagging tail always means a happy dog, but that's not always the case. To accurately read a dog's emotional state, we need to look at tail position, motion, and context. First, a tucked tail. A tail that is tucked tightly under the body is a clear sign of fear. This is one of the most obvious signals that a dog is uncomfortable. Low and still, so if the tail is hanging low and held still, especially if the rest of the body is tense, is often a sign of stress. This is a subtler sign than the full tucked tail, but still worth paying attention to. Stiff, so a tail held high and rigid, especially if paired with a tense body. This is common in dogs who are on alert. Fast, so a fast tail wag with a stiff body is not necessarily friendly. If the tail is wagging quickly but tightly, like a metronome, and the dog looks tense elsewhere, it is often a sign of stress. Flagging, so flagging is when the tail is held straight up and may move slowly or vibrate slightly. This is a sign that the dog is highly aroused and possibly on the verge of reacting. It can be seen right before a bark, lunge, or growl. On the other hand, a soft, sweeping wag combined with a loose, wiggly body generally does indicate a relaxed, friendly dog. It's all about context. When trying to determine how a dog is feeling, one of the most important things we can do is look at the dog's entire body, not just the face or tail. Dogs use their whole body to communicate, and many of the clearest signs of stress or fear can show up in their posture and movement. When a dog leans or shifts their weight away from a person, object, or other animal, it's often a clear signal of discomfort. They're trying to increase distance without physically moving away. Lunging is often misunderstood. While it can be a sign of aggression, it's frequently rooted in fear or anxiety. The dog is trying to create space, often because they feel threatened or trapped. A dog that crouches or lowers its body to the ground is likely feeling insecure. It is a signal that the dog is trying to avoid conflict. It's often paired with ears back, tail tucked, or averted eyes. Trembling can be caused by cold or illness, but in a behavioral context, it's often a clear stress signal. Dogs may tremble in response to fear, anxiety, or overwhelming environments. You might notice a dog give a full body shake, like they're drying off even though they're not wet. This shake off is a calming signal and a way for dogs to release built up tension. Some dogs shed excessively when they're nervous or stressed. You may notice a sudden flurry of fur in a new situation. It's part of the body's natural stress response and can happen even in dogs that aren't heavy shedders normally. A dog that physically steps backwards is trying to increase distance from something that they feel unsafe or uncomfortable around. While rolling on the back can sometimes be an invitation for belly rubs in relaxed dogs, in a stress context, it's very different. A dog who rolls over with a stiff body, tucked tail, or frozen facial expression is showing a sign of appeasement or an attempt to avoid confrontation. One of the earliest signs of stress is overall body stiffness. A tense dog may look frozen or statue-like. When dogs are stressed, fearful, or overwhelmed, their behavior changes. Sometimes the signs are subtle, but other times the dog communicates in very clear and direct ways. These more overt behaviors can often be misinterpreted as disobedience, defiance, or even aggression, when in reality they're emotional responses to discomfort or fear. Growling is a dog's way of saying, "I'm uncomfortable, please give me space." It's a warning, not an act of aggression. A growl is a valuable communication tool that tells you the dog is reaching their limit. Punishing a dog for growling can suppress this warning, which may result in the dog skipping straight to biting in the future. Always listen to the growl and assess what's causing the stress. A snarl, when a dog lifts their lips and shows their teeth, often accompanied by a growl, is an escalation of that same warning. It's a clear signal that the dog is feeling threatened and trying to protect themselves. Again, this is communication. The dog is saying, "Please back off, I'm not okay." Displacement behaviors are actions that seem out of place in the moment, like sudden sniffing, scratching, sneezing, yawning, or licking. These behaviors are used by dogs to cope with conflict or stress. For example, a dog that starts sniffing the ground when approached by a stranger might be trying to diffuse tension and redirect their own anxiety. Some dogs respond to stress by going quiet and still. This is often mistaken for calmness, but a shut-down dog is emotionally withdrawn. They may stop responding to cues, avoid eye contact, and appear checked out. A dog that retreats under furniture, behind their handler, or into another room is trying to escape something they find scary or uncomfortable. Hiding is a clear signal that the dog doesn't feel safe. Stress can interfere with a dog's ability to eat. If your dog normally takes treats happily, but suddenly refuses them during training or visits, it may be a sign that they're over threshold. Loss of appetite is an especially important red flag when working with nervous or therapy dogs. Urinating or defecating in unusual places, especially when the dog is otherwise potty trained, can be a stress response. This is not a behavioral problem to be corrected, but a symptom of emotional distress. Not all stress looks like fear or freezing. Some dogs respond to stress by becoming overly bouncy, mouthy, or unfocused. This hyperactivity is a form of displacement energy. They're trying to self-regulate by moving, vocalizing, or seeking attention. One of the most important concepts in dog behavior and training is threshold. In simple terms, a dog's threshold is the point at which they become too stressed, excited, fearful, or reactive to respond calmly and effectively. It's the tipping point between being able to focus and function and being overwhelmed or emotionally flooded. When a dog is below threshold, they may notice a trigger, like another dog, a loud sound, or a stranger, but they can still think, take treats, respond to cues, and stay regulated. This is where learning can happen. If you're trying to train a dog while they're over threshold, it won't work. They're not being stubborn, they're in a stress response. That's why it's so important to observe body language. It's also important to know that a dog's threshold can change depending on the context. For example, a dog might stay calm around other dogs at a distance on a quiet street, but go over threshold in a crowded park where they're surrounded by dogs. Fatigue, illness, lack of sleep, or previous stressful events can lower a dog's threshold and make them more reactive than usual. In short, threshold is fluid. It's affected by the environment, the dog's emotional state, and how close or intense the trigger is. What they can handle today may be different from what they can handle tomorrow. Now that we've explored the different ways dogs use their eyes, ears, face, mouth, tail, and entire body to communicate, it's important to step back and talk about the big picture. Reading body language isn't about focusing on a single sign in isolation. A wagging tail doesn't always mean a happy dog. A dog that yawns might not be tired. One behavior can mean many different things depending on the context and the dog's full body expression. That is why it's important to look at the whole dog. Ask yourself, what are their eyes doing? How tense is their body? Are they leaning in or pulling away? Are they taking treats or refusing food? Is their energy rising or shutting down? When we combine these signals and consider the environment they're in, we get a much clearer picture of how the dog is truly feeling. This is especially important when working in therapy settings or with sensitive dogs. Many dogs are very subtle in how they show stress. If we only pay attention once they bark, growl, or shut down, we've already missed the earlier signals. Your ability to read these signs early and respond appropriately helps build trust, prevent escalation, and create a safer, more respectful experience for both the dog and the people they interact with. Now we are going to go over the components of the therapy dog test. This test may vary slightly from organization to organization, but most generally cover these behaviors. No treats may be used during each component of the test. As discussed earlier, no punitive equipment is allowed either. The evaluator is looking to see a positive relationship between dog and handler. The evaluator is also looking for a handler who is able to respond appropriately and professionally in each scenario presented. The evaluation starts at the car, so we want to see that the dog will wait until given a cue to exit the vehicle. Once out of the vehicle, the dog should remain composed and focused on you. When walking through the parking lot towards the building, the dog should remain on loose leash at your side. The dog should not be distracted by cars or pulling to explore the environment. When entering the building, the dog should wait calmly at the door until given a cue to cross the threshold with you. We don't want to see the dog rushing through the door ahead of you. Once inside the building, the dog should be able to settle and wait calmly in the lobby area. When approached by a friendly stranger, the dog should remain relaxed, keeping all four paws on the ground. The dog can solicit attention as long as they remain composed. When another dog is near, the dog needs to remain composed and able to focus on their handler. The dog cannot pull towards, attempt to greet, or show reactivity towards the other dog. When there is a loud or sudden disturbance, the dog is allowed to startle but must be able to recover quickly. The dog must demonstrate that they can take treats gently from another person without their teeth coming into contact with the person. However, it is okay if the dog chooses not to take the treat. If you are testing with a small dog, you must be able to demonstrate that the dog is comfortable with being lifted and placed on another person's lap. Your dog must demonstrate that they can respond to both the sit and down cues. Each cue must only be given one time. Your dog must be able to hold a sit or down position while you walk away 10 feet and then return to the dog. Your dog will be presented with a novel object. You will need to demonstrate that your dog is able to leave it, either automatically or on cue. You will need to demonstrate that your dog can walk past a bag of treats on the ground without pulling towards the bag or attempting to eat the treats. You will also be asked to call your dog to you past the bag of treats on the ground. Your dog will need to stay with a stranger while you leave the room for a short time. Your dog can watch for you, but should not exhibit any signs of anxiety, such as whining or pulling towards the direction you left in. Your dog will need to be able to walk past or through a crowd, demonstrating that they remain on loose leash at your side without pulling towards or attempting to sniff the other people. Your dog will need to remain comfortable when approached by multiple people. If needed, you can help facilitate this by kneeling at the dog's level to maintain further control of the dog. Your dog will need to demonstrate that they can maintain composure and are comfortable if a stranger is more exuberant or clumsy with their petting, or gives them a hug. Your dog will be presented with different types of stimuli to see their reaction. This may include someone running by quickly, approaching with an umbrella, or other similar scenarios. The dog will also be tested around various medical equipment that they may encounter during a visit. This could be a cane, walker, or wheelchair. During the test, you may be asked how you would respond to various scenarios that could occur during a visit. This could include, what happens if someone is afraid of your dog? What if somebody tries to feed your dog? Or what if a stranger wants their dog to meet yours? In order to pass, the team must pass each item on the test. The dog must remain relaxed and under control throughout the test. And the handler must not use any force or punitive methods. This includes maintaining positive interactions with the dog without the use of a harsh tone of voice. In some cases, teams may receive a conditional pass where they are only certified for certain types of visits or facilities. Now that you've learned about what's involved in animal-assisted therapy and the therapy dog test, if you feel like this is a good fit for you and your dog and are ready to schedule a test, or if you would like to pursue additional training to prepare for the test, please feel free to reach out to me at melissa@brightpettraining.com. Thank you for joining to learn about animal-assisted therapy. My contact information and website is listed here. Please feel free to reach out with any questions.